Hello everybody, my name is Alan from Sauber-Lab and today will be another video about server. In the previous video I explained a little bit more about Synology NAS, Ugreen, these new options for NAS, and advise which one that's better, which one that's worst, and which one that will fit better for your needs. But if you don't want to buy a all-in-one NAS and you want to build your own system, what options that you have? In this video I want to explain a little bit more about it, we'll give some ideas, we'll explain the price, explain the difference, and that after this video potentially you can make the best decision to choose one or other. Remember, this research it's all based for my interest, so if you want to do a little bit different setup, yes, you are free to do it, but this one it's what I needed to build for my house or what I wanted to install, and that's in the future hopefully I will build it. So, if you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show in this video, but first of all, don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and let's understand a little bit more about it. So as I told, the system that I'm trying to build is the system that will fit for my needs, and I'm trying to use one of the versions for Ugreen as a benchmark, and that I will see what's the difference of price and if it's better for me to build my own system or it's better to buy one plugin, and what will be the consideration that you need to have in mind before you make this decision. So first of all, here my screen I have my, let's say, my own built server and my server NAS that I will buy off shelf, and that will be plug and play. So if I go here a little bit more, I try to put all the information here to make sure that it's easy for me to understand. So if I go here in my screen, let me put a little bit more in the center, yes, don't worry about this, we're going to explain a little bit more here in a second. But first of all, this will be my initial setup. This setup it's based on the Ugreen. Have two options, have the one that have a 4 base with a lower power CPU and have one with 8 base. In my case I wanted to upgrade my system, so I don't want to have the same power or same amount of base that I currently have. So this reason that I will focus with this 8 base, and this reason that I'm looking for i5-1235U. First, power consumption is quite low, and second, it's exactly the same. Of course, after I can compare or change a little bit the CPU to get a different option, but this will be very much my configuration. So if you're gonna build your own server or your own computer, if you already built before, you know that first thing that you're gonna choose will be the CPU that you want. Because the rest, most of the part is come after, but the CPU is more important. Once that you decide the CPU, in my case I decided this one, i5-1235, and that's I decided this one because they have around 13,000 in score benchmark. So if I go here, I'll have 13,000 and they have a low power consumption. So normally typical will be 15 watts, and maximum that you're gonna have is 55. So it's better to get a NAS that run 20/7 with a low power CPU, then you get a really powerful one, power hungry, and that you're going to spend lots of energy, and that you going to keep the server off. So my idea is I want to keep this one 20/7. Also, one of the good things for this Intel is that have a graphic card or integrate graphic card that will allow me to do or video transcription using my GPU. Also, the maximum memory run it's a 64 GB with DDR5 for 800. This reason that I will choose this one for use in my system. If I come here, I have my CPU. What then I can choose? I can choose my motherboard. My motherboard needs to be in match with my CPU, because CPUs, different brands will have different sockets, different revisions will have different sockets, different architecture will have everything, it's different. So if I look for same age computer, or let's say same age CPU, if I go to Intel revision 12, I will have one specific socket. If I go for Ryzen, we'll have a different socket. If I go for different revision of Ryzen, we'll have a different socket. So have in mind, first choose your CPU, and that's your motherboard. In this case, this motherboard will have a DDR5 RAM memory, and as I look for the CPU, the maximum speed that CPU can handle is 4800, so I will choose this RAM memory. Also, I choose 8 gigabytes. I could choose 64, yes I could do, but as I'm comparing this specific NAS, I still need to choose exactly the same amount of RAM memory to be a fair comparison. Otherwise, I can go for a more expensive one, but then the cost of my NAS will go up, and that I will not be compare apples with apples. So if I go back here, I choose my RAM memory should be matched with my NAS, and also I need to put a network card because my NAS have a 10 gigabyte, so I need to match it. So if I get the card, and if I get the RAM memory and the CPU and the motherboard, now only thing that I need to decide will be my power supply. The power supply 500 watts will be more than enough, but if you want to put a GPU in the future, and quite new GPU, you're gonna need to go a little bit higher power. But if you use this server only for video transcription, you don't need to get, let's say, RTX GPU. You can go for a Quatron P something, and that will have better transcription speeds, will have better performance, and that will be less power consumption. So storage, I will consider storage at this stage? No, because independent what kind of storage that I decide will have exactly the same cost if I go for my normal computer build or a server build, or if I buy something all in one. So in this way, I will not choose or not tell how much storage that I will decide, what kind of storage and how much memory I want to buy. So I put as a reference 300 pounds, but I will not use this one at this stage. And in the end, I need to have my case. In this case, I will choose with 8 bay because 8 bay will be exactly the same amount of bays. And one thing that I will look for AliExpress will be this cost. I think that this cost of shipping will be different because of my location, but I can always choose other options. But let's say the worst case will be around 150 pounds. So if I go back here, the total cost of everything will be around 810. Let's say that I wanted to put some funds, add some extra stuff, will be maximum 850 that I will spend to my system. Storage will have exactly the same cost, and the storage will be the high cost. Because if I think here, this is 300, let's say, each storage. If I have 80 bays times 300 will be around 2,400 pounds only for total storage, and that this is 3 or 4 times the price of your NAS. So have this one in mind. Depend how much storage will have more cost, but always you can start small and start to upgrade it and increase and create more storage. Or remember, depending what system that you use, you're not gonna be able to increase your specific pool. So you need to create different pools, but it's only details. You can always backup it out, get the information out, create a new pool, and that's backupping. For building this server will be around 810, 850. If I go for my all build NAS, I will be 1,299 pounds for all in one. So in this case, if I buy 1,299 today when I'm recording it, and that's compare for 810, so we will have an extra cost for 489 only for I don't need to stress about anything. And that's come the question, do you think that's worth to have this extra cost for a system plus iOS that is already come on it? First of all, if I go for Ugreen, I can install any operating system. Nothing block me to install to NAS. So the operating system could be the same. Only thing that make me in that time, few years ago, to buy my Synology NAS is that I didn't find any good application for photos. But as I posted a few weeks ago, a video showing that's a good application, I think that's a Photo Prism or something like it, that work quite well, and that will be a good comparison between Synology Photos and my Photo Prism with AI and everything. So then it's a little bit more questionable, and if I was in this time, potentially not to buy Synology NAS, potentially not buy a well-built or all-in-one plugin server. First, I like to try, I like the flexibility. Through NAS, it's work with Debian, so I have all the Docker applications that I want. I can have read and write cache. I can have all the permissions for users. I can do everything that I want with through NAS and work. Why I will get anything else? Only thing that's it's interesting for me to try is I want to see how is the US for Ugreen and see if it's worth this 489 for, let's say, license cost and development cost that they will give for this manufacturing. Apart from it, if you look for basic numbers, cost between both, yes, you're gonna pay, let's say, almost half of the money that you're gonna build your server only with this extra cost. And that you're gonna have the same performance. So you're gonna have the same CPU, same amount of RAM memory, same amount of networking, but the difference that you're gonna have more flexibility. You can go there in the future and buy only a graphic card and install this one. You can go there in the future and put 64 gigabytes. Normally those have 4 bays, so you don't need to buy 2 RAM memories of 32. You can get 4 of 16 and that will get the same amount. You can go maximum speed is 4800, so not making any difference. You can in the future get a card extension and connect to PCI Express, and that you can have more hard drives. Of course, if your case allowed it, you can connect something that is SATA and that have another case in the side, and they will allow you to put 12 hard drive, 16 hard drive, 24 hard drives, as long as you can storage it in a safe place that will be vibration proof. But yes, you have this flexibility. The case potentially will be a little bit bigger, but you still have this flexibility. Ugreen don't give this flexibility at this stage, because first you cannot upgrade or cannot add an extra storage, not at the moment. Also you have the maximum amount of hard drives that you can connect, and that's it. With your computer you have more flexible, you can do other things, and that will work different. But of course it's your choice. You need to choose what you want. If you want something that's gonna work, will be good and plug and play, and you're happy to pay this extra cost for it, yes, go to Ugreen. You're gonna have the same hardware, but will be no stress at all, with an extra of OS that will allow some extra application the top of the normal Docker. But if you like to try, if you don't worry about this specific OS, if you don't worry about only plug and play, and you are happy to assemble everything and you have experience for it, or you are happy to learn how to do it, yes, I suggest you to build your own server, compare for the price. Because with 489 you pretty much buy 1.5 storage or hard drive extra that will give more space, and then you have all the learning converter, you have everything that you can do to improve yourself. So in this way we arrive in the end of the video. I hope that you guys like this video. If you like this video and think that was interesting, please don't forget to leave your like, consider subscribe for the channel if you're not subscribed, and see you next time.